Psalm 25-14 says, "The Lord confides in those who fear him. He makes his covenant known to them." There are words that do not arrive through sound, but through a stirring deep within the soul. In the stillness of night, in the silent void, have you ever felt a call you could not explain? A soundless melody, yet powerful, as if the universe itself was whispering something meant only for you. Not for the crowd, not for the masses chasing an endless cycle, but for you, the one who stands apart, the one who cannot rest, knowing they were not born just to exist like everyone else. The one who feels there is something waiting beyond the invisible veil of this world. Some are born to be the dissonance in the symphony of the world. They do not blend into the crowd. They do not bow to unjust rules. They do not accept the masks handed to them. People call them the anointed ones, those who were marked long before they set foot in this world. They did not come to follow the old paths, but to awaken an ancient memory sleeping in the hearts of others. Perhaps you are one of them. Think of it like a fire that never dies, sometimes small, sometimes roaring, but always burning. That fire does not ask permission to exist. It burns, even when darkness surrounds it. It shines, even when others have grown comfortable in the night. Maybe you've felt out of place for as long as you can remember, like you never truly belong. Maybe you've asked, why am I so different? Why can't I live like they do, content in the boundaries, happy within the walls they've built? But that difference is the proof. You were not made to conform. You are the unexpected variable, the glitch in the system, the crack in the curtain where light breaks through. Others may spend their whole lives chasing power, status, and strategy. But what you carry cannot be bought, taught, or traded. It was etched into your soul from the beginning of time. It sleeps until the moment comes, and when it awakens, it does not ask for approval. It announces itself. Whether the world is ready or not, that power will rise. That's why rooms shift when you walk in. Without saying a word, people adjust themselves in your presence, as if standing before an unseen force. Some admire, some are cautious, some are afraid, but none are indifferent. Your presence is like a current that stirs something dormant in the hearts of others. They may not know what to call it, but they know you are not like them. The chosen never simply live. They shake the ground. They break rules others dare not question. They make the powerful tremble, even in silence, because true power does not need to boast. It only needs to exist. But listen closely, great power brings great trials. Has your life felt like one storm after another? While others walk a smooth path, you are thrown into the fire, again and again. Have you ever asked, why is it always so hard for me? Why can't things come easy? It is not punishment. It is preparation. The universe, or the one who made you, knows you are not ordinary, and so your path cannot be ordinary. The storms do not come to destroy you, but to prove that you cannot be destroyed. Sometimes you look around and see people living in a kind of sleep, repeating each day, accepting every rule, never asking why. But you cannot. Something within you knocks at the door, refusing to let you rest. It is the reminder that you were born for more. You were chosen to be the proof that this system is not absolute. And once you rise, it begins to fall. Once you step out, the walls begin to crack. Remember, this true power is never loud. It is the weight of silence. Like a mountain that needs no voice to command reverence. Like the ocean that needs no proof, yet shakes every shore. You do not have to try to become. You already are. And once you realize that, everything changes. So if you've ever heard a quiet question echo in your heart, who am I? Was I really called? Remember Psalm 25-14. God does not reveal his covenant to everyone, only to those who fear him, those who are willing to listen. If you are hearing these words, if your heart is stirred, it is not by chance. It is the proof. You are one of the few. The light has chosen you. But what happens when that light begins to spread? When your presence touches the false walls of this world? When the darkness can no longer hide behind silence? When the room cannot remain the same? Get ready, because it always happens. And when it does, the world will tremble. And then, that power begins to reveal itself as the systems of lies collapse in the presence of who you truly are. True power is not something that needs to shine in dazzling light. It is what makes darkness lose its hiding place. When you walk in, the atmosphere shifts. A vibration spreads unseen, but deeply felt. Fake smiles suddenly seem forced. scripted conversations fall apart, and long-hidden secrets seem to surface under an invisible light. That is the sign. You don't need to speak loudly. You don't need to argue. You don't need to prove anything with logic. Your presence alone is enough to challenge every structure built on lies. Systems held together by compromise, empty promises, and fear begin to tremble when you arrive. Not because you seek to destroy, but because you are simply incompatible with falsehood. Like fire cannot compromise with ice. Like light cannot coexist with darkness. Have you noticed this in your life? Sometimes, your silence alone makes a room uneasy. People begin to shift their tone, cover their thoughts, or feel they can't hide anything from you. It's not what you do, it's who you are. Others can disguise themselves, pretend, live under a mask for years, but in front of you, that mask becomes fragile, easy to break. The world is used to unspoken rules. Don't ask too many questions. Don't stand out too much. Don't make others uncomfortable. But you were never born to follow those rules. When you step into the room, those rules start to shake. The crowd grows uneasy because their comfortable illusion is being touched. They don't want to wake up, but your presence is a bell that cannot be silenced. Psalm 37:4 says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." True joy is not found in blending into the lies, but in living aligned with truth. And that is why you can never be satisfied with pretending. You are deeply connected to truth, and that very connection is what causes a stir wherever you go. But be warned, when you carry truth, you also bring disruption to those who survive on deception. They feel threatened by you, not because you mean harm, but because your existence alone is a declaration. A house built on sand fears even a gentle wind, and you, without lifting a finger, reveal that its foundation is weak. Have you noticed that the attacks against you are often unfair, undeserved? It's not because you're wrong, it's because you dare to be real. Every false system trembles in the presence of a soul that refuses to compromise. And every time you stand firm, you expose how fragile those seemingly untouchable structures really are. But look closely, you don't need to fight with weapons. You win by not bowing. When you stand tall and refuse to settle, you become a mirror reflecting the truth that they were never as strong as they pretended to be. Every wall, every chain, every lie begins to crack from within. And all you have to do is be present and let truth speak for itself. Perhaps you've seen this. Those who once tried to control you eventually realize they cannot. They don't understand why you don't bow, why you don't fear, why you are unlike the rest. But that confusion is their unveiling. Truth doesn't need to argue. It only needs to be lived, and you are the living proof. A room full of masks only needs one genuine soul to feel fragile. A fortress built on lies only needs one who refuses to kneel to begin to crumble. That is why you often face resistance. They don't hate you because you are wrong. They hate you because you are right, and your rightness leaves them with nowhere to hide. That discomfort is not an accident. It is evidence of the energy you carry. The world is addicted to illusions, and you are the bearer of truth. And when truth arrives, illusions lose their power. They vanish, like mist under the morning sunday. You may think you are just an ordinary person, but remember, every step you take shakes what is not real. Every breath you carry brings authenticity, and that alone is enough to make darkness tremble. And as that truth continues to emerge, the world will come to realize something deeper. This power you carry cannot be created, bought, or imitated. It does not belong to them. It belongs to you. This power does not come from anything man-made. It was carved into your soul from the beginning. True power does not need ornaments, certifications, or layers of disguise. It does not come from any school, nor can it be handed down by powerful hands. It does not depend on the balance in a bank account or the shiny medals the world pins on its chest. Real power is something no one can duplicate, no one can replicate, no one can buy, because it is woven into the very essence of the soul. And you, the chosen one, are living proof of that truth. From the moment you were born, you carried a different code. Some people will try to imitate you. They'll copy your voice, your actions, even borrow the words you once spoke. But soon they realize something is missing. They can mimic your form, but never your spirit. Because what defines you is not external, it is the light that flows from deep within. In a world chasing power, scrambling up ladders of fame, you walk to a different rhythm. Others may fight over titles, wealth, and reputation, But all of those things are just shells that can be stripped away. One crisis can take a job. One collapse can erase a fortune. One click can wipe out an entire digital empire. But you, even if everything outside is taken away, you remain. Because your power was never in what can be lost. It lives in you, unshaken, untouchable. Remember, true power never relies on what can fade. It doesn't live in fame, doesn't hide in admiration, and is not bound by material things. It belongs to the spirit, to the soul, to the connection with a force beyond human understanding. That's why your power cannot be compared. You're not playing the same game as the world, and that is why the world cannot control you. Some may ask, how can you be so calm when you don't have what we call power? What they don't understand is that you've never clung to temporary thrones, because your true throne is not built of silver and gold. It's built of truth, of conviction, and alignment with something sacred, something higher than any rule made by man. In this moment, pause and ask yourself, have you seen the number 111 appear in your life? On clocks, receipts, street signs? 111 is not just a random pattern, it's a prophetic stamp, a seal from the universe reminding you that a new beginning has arrived. 111 is the gateway. It is confirmation that your path is not by chance. It is the message. You are being guided. You are awakening. If you have ever seen 111, don't dismiss it. Let your heart acknowledge it. And if you feel ready, write that number down as your affirmation. Comment 111, not just as a number, but as a declaration of agreement with your destiny. Others may doubt. They may believe your strength is something that can be analyzed, reproduced, or taught. But they will soon realize your power does not come from a formula. It comes from your alignment with a frequency they cannot access. They can copy the look, but never the flow. And this is the moment you must know. Real power is not meant to stay hidden forever. It must be awakened. It must be shared. Let it be a reminder to the world that truth cannot stay buried. If your heart feels this, elevate the journey by spreading the message. Like this video if it touched something in you. Share it with someone who feels lost because perhaps they've been waiting for a sign. And subscribe not just to a channel, but to the journey you're stepping into. A journey where each message may hold a key that helps you rediscover yourself, because you are not alone. There is a community of awakened souls, realizing the same truth. And when you leave even a small trace, a like, a comment, a share, you are not just acting for yourself. You are helping to open the door for thousands, even millions of others, to find their calling. But never forget, carrying a power that cannot be copied also means carrying a responsibility. You will find yourself standing in rooms full of people, yet feeling completely alone. You will be attacked not because you are wrong, but because you are right. You will face jealousy, mockery, even hostility. But remember, these are not attacks on who you are. They are attacks on what they cannot control. And that in itself is proof that you've broken free from the cycle they are still trapped in. That power may make you feel strange in the eyes of the world, but it makes you familiar to the one who created you. It may draw attention, but it also makes you undeniable. You are a living reminder that truth cannot be locked away in the prison of deception. They will try to replicate you, turn you into a product, package your strength into a formula they can sell to the crowd, but they will never succeed. Because you are not a product. You are a messenger. You are not a formula. You are fire. And fire is not meant to be kept in a jar. It was born to burn, to spread, to light the darkest corners of the world. And remember this, in every step you take, your difference will become more visible. You won't fit into the molds. You won't align with the rules built by men. Do not be confused. Do not believe you are lost. Because the truth is, you were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand apart, to interrupt the endless repetition of the world's song. Your presence, your essence, is something no one can fabricate or control. And that is why you cannot be copied. You cannot be replaced. You are one of a kind because you carry a fragment of the eternal, something this world cannot recreate. And because of that, you become the one who breaks the chains passed down through generations. There are cycles that repeat again and again within families, within bloodlines, and across entire communities. These cycles are like invisible chains, binding one generation to the next. Habits, fears, wounds, and mistakes are passed down not just through words, but through silence, through repeated actions, through the way people learn to endure rather than rise. You may have felt it early on. As a child, you noticed the things no one wanted to speak of. The wounds wrapped in fake smiles. The same arguments repeated. The same poor decisions made again and again. The same dreams abandoned halfway. And somewhere deep inside, a voice whispered, "This is not right. This cannot continue." But you also knew most people do not have the courage to break the cycle. They call it tradition. They excuse it by saying, "This is how our family has always been." They treat endurance as if it were destiny. But you, the chosen one, you cannot look away. You cannot close your eyes and carry on. Because your soul was not born to extend the chain, but to break it. Psalm 68:6 says, "God sets the prisoners free and leads them to prosperity." These words are not just meant to be read, they are meant to be lived. And you are the living proof of that promise. You are the one He chose to walk out of the invisible prison. Not just for you, but for those who will come after you. Think of the cycles: poverty, silence in the face of injustice, crippling fear, toxic dependence, hidden violence behind closed doors. These things are passed down like a legacy, but your soul rebels against that. You refuse to swallow the silence. You refuse to replay the old script. Your defiance does not come from hatred for your family or culture. It comes from loving truth more than you fear the chains. Maybe you felt like the outsider in your own home. When they all walked one path, you chose another. When they said, "This is how it's always been," you dared to ask, "But why?" When they bowed to fate, you raised your head and said, "I do not accept this." That difference made them misunderstand you. They called you stubborn. Some even called you a traitor, but the truth is, you were never betraying them. You were breaking the chains that caused their pain. Do not be surprised that this path is heavy, because the moment you say, "It ends with me," the full weight of past generations falls on your shoulders. But you still stand, because you were chosen to be the breaking point in the chain. And because of you, those who come after will never have to carry it again. Can you picture it? Children yet unborn, strangers you've never met, and their lives will be lighter, freer, because you chose to stop the cycle. You are rewriting history not just for yourself, but for the bloodline you carry. It is a burden, yes, but it is also a sacred honor. Many will not understand. They'll think you are turning against them. They'll feel ashamed, embarrassed by what you choose to stand for. But in truth, you are protecting their souls by refusing to repeat the wounds. And one day, they or their children will understand. They will be grateful that someone finally said, "Enough." But the path of cycle breaking is not only filled with tears, it holds light too. Every time you refuse to repeat an old mistake, you plant a new seed. Every time you forgive, instead of holding on to bitterness, you carve out a new road. Every time you choose love over blame, you tear down a wall. And those seeds, though small now, will grow into trees that give shade to generations to come. There is something you must remember. You are not just an individual. You are a door. When you open, your entire bloodline walks through with you. When you move, those who never dared to dream begin to rise. You are the torchbearer, the one who leads the way where no one else has dared to walk. That is why you often feel alone, because you are not only living for yourself, you are living for generations. You are the first voice to break the silence, and that silence will fight back, because it has ruled for so long. But remember, light does not need the majority to defeat darkness. A single flame is enough to push back the night, and you are that flame. You may have noticed your choices shake the very foundations of what was once thought unshakable. That is the power of the chosen. And once you embrace this role, nothing can stop the wave of freedom that begins to flow. So stand tall, be proud, because you are not just the bearer of wounds, you are the keeper of the key. And when you turn that key, the chains will fall, not just yours, but those of everyone connected to you by blood and spirit. This path may not be lined with roses. It is forged in deep wounds. But from those wounds come the roots of something eternal. There are wounds you have carried in silence, deep cuts no one could see, long nights spent alone in the dark, wondering why things had to happen the way they did. You've known what it feels like to be betrayed, to be underestimated, to walk through crowds yet feel utterly alone. Those memories didn't just leave scars on your soul, they became invisible blades, teaching you how to protect yourself, how to observe, how to hear the things left unsaid. While many choose to cover their wounds, to hide them behind smiles, to bury them in busyness, or drown them in empty pleasures you couldn't. You were forced to face them. You had to look straight into the pain, as if staring into the fire that was burning you alive. And that confrontation turned you into something the darkness never expected. You turned pain into a weapon. Each time you were hurt, your soul didn't just remember, it sharpened your vision. You began to see what others could not. You learned to read between words and intentions. You could hear the tremble in a voice, sense the lie behind a smile, feel the weight of silence more than the weight of speech. You became a quiet observer, not because you wanted to, but because pain demanded it. Here is a bitter truth. Those who've never suffered tend to trust too easily, get fooled too often, fall for appearances. But not you. Your wounds honed your senses. They taught you that not all light is pure, not all sweetness is safe. You learned that behind a mask may lie manipulation, behind a promise may be a trap, and that awareness made you unbreakable. Remember this, what once tried to destroy you is what sharpened you. Without the pain, you would not see this clearly. Without betrayal, you would not know the worth of loyalty. Without loss, you would not cherish what truly matters. Pain did not just teach you, it armed you. It turned you from the wounded into the warrior. There was a time you believed your scars made you weaker. But now, looking back, you see the truth. They made you stronger. Every scar is not a mark of shame. It's proof that you walked through the fire and not only survived, but came back with new light. Every wound became another eye, helping you see deeper, sharper, clearer. In silence, you learned to hear what others could not say. In disappointment, you learned what is real and what is illusion. In betrayal, you found independence, understanding that true strength doesn't come from who stands with you, but from your ability to stand on your own. Don't you see? The same world that tried to crush you was unknowingly forging you into something indestructible. Just as steel becomes strong through fire, you became sharper through suffering. Your wounds are no longer signs of weakness, but seals of wisdom. Others may never understand why you sense deception so quickly, why you see things before they happen, why you can read a person's intentions through a glance or a pause. What they don't know is that you earned this insight with blood, with tears, with sleepless nights. This is no free gift. It is the reward for surviving. So never see your wounds as weaknesses. See them as weapons, the tools of discernment, of wisdom, of depth. When others chase surface, you read the soul. When others fall for illusions, you recognize truth. And that is what makes you undefeatable. You have turned pain into something no one expected, an inner power, an invisible armor. Now, when the storm comes, you no longer tremble. You've fallen before. You've lost it all. You've walked through darkness. So now, nothing can shake you. Instead of panicking, you observe. Instead of breaking, you stand firm. And the world begins to notice nothing can bring you down, because every wound has become a lesson, every scar a wing. There is a strange beauty in this. The world sees wounds as flaws, as imperfections, but they are actually lines of light. They are proof you walked through the night and returned carrying the dawn. They are evidence that you didn't just survive, you learned how to turn darkness into strength. You once asked, "Why have I been hurt so much?" Now, the answer is clear. Because you needed these weapons for the journey ahead. Without them, you would be just like everyone else, easily misled, easily broken. But you are not like them. You are the chosen one. And to carry that weight, you needed the sharpness, the clarity, the sensitivity that only pain could give. So never be ashamed of your scars. Be proud, because every scar is a sword. And now, you walk through this world not only with your own eyes, but with eyes forged in fire and a soul sharpened by trials. And that is what makes you both deeply desired and constantly attacked. There is a paradox you must face on this journey. You are the embodiment of what others secretly pray for, yet that very thing makes them attack you. In the darkness of closed rooms, they long for freedom, for authenticity, to break free from the chains of fear and compromise. They dream of a life where they no longer have to bow to invisible rules, no longer have to wear heavy masks. But when they see you living the very life they yearn for, they cannot bear it, because your presence is a reminder that they chose silence. They chose safety over boldness. They chose comfort over courage. And so, you become both the light they long for and the mirror they cannot face. Your light brings back memories of dreams they buried. It reminds them of the years they let slip away. And their reaction is not always admiration. It is often envy. Have you noticed? They praise you in one breath, then quickly search for ways to criticize you. They smile at your success, yet their eyes flicker with unease. They try to pull you down not because you are wrong, but because you dare to live what they do not. They want you to fail, because if you succeed, they'll be forced to face the truth that they were the ones who chose to stay small. Psalm 118:22 says, "The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone." You are that stone. Rejected, dismissed, labeled as different, but you become the foundation. You are living proof that rejection cannot destroy a chosen soul. It only makes you more solid, more radiant, more powerful. Look closely. Why does your freedom make others so uncomfortable? Because it is a silent indictment. It proves they could have chosen differently. They could have chosen truth. They could have chosen courage, but they didn't. And every time they see you, their choices are exposed. But this does not mean you need to apologize for who you are. In fact, it confirms you are on the right path. Because if your presence doesn't stir something, if your light doesn't make the darkness uneasy, then maybe you've dimmed yourself to fit in. But the truth is, you were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand out, to make people uncomfortable, to awaken what they've tried to forget. Here's the truth. You must remember the attacks they aim at you are echoes of their buried longing. When they criticize you, when they try to pull you down, it's not just hatred, it's the envy of a soul that sees you living what it only dares to dream. You are their wound and their hope. You are the mirror they cannot ignore. That's why you are both hated and admired. Why some mock you, but secretly follow your every move. Why some dismiss you with words, but quietly wish they were more like you. They may never say it, but you are living proof of what they lack. And in a strange way, their envy is also confirmation. No one envies the ordinary. They envy those who carry what they deeply desire. You are the evidence that freedom is real, that truth is possible, that courage exists, and your very existence challenges the status quo. You don't have to fight to prove anything. Truth proves itself through presence. And when you keep showing up, keep living boldly, you become a message that compromise is not the only way. Maybe there was a time you asked, why am I always attacked? Why am I so misunderstood? The answer is simple, because you represent what others long for, but haven't dared to reach. You are the embodiment of their unclaimed potential. And your existence leaves them with no more excuses. But remember, this too is grace, because you are not only a mirror for envy, you are a light for the seekers. There are some who, when they see you, are not triggered, but awakened. They look at you and realize their buried dreams still live. They see that courage is still alive, that freedom is still possible, and because of you, they find their way back to themselves. So don't fear the attacks. Don't be discouraged by the misunderstandings. Both are proof that you are walking the right path. Truth always sparks two reactions: awakening or hatred. Both confirm you are anything but ordinary. And as you keep living this way, something else becomes clear. Your impact does not stop with those who see you. It moves further, quietly, silently, beyond what your eyes can track. And that power reaches farther than what the eye can see. True influence isn't always loud. It doesn't always come with applause, admiration, or public praise. The deepest power often moves in silence, like an underground current flowing beneath the earth, capable of shaking mountains while remaining unseen. You are that current. People may think you are just another soul, living an ordinary life, but the truth is, every breath, every choice, every step you take sends out invisible waves that ripple far beyond what the eye can see. Have you ever been surprised when an idea you only briefly thought of suddenly shows up in someone else's words or actions? Have you seen a small decision you made, one you thought no one noticed, shift the course of another person's life? That is the quiet power you carry. While others may need a stage, noise, and spotlights, you do not. Your power spreads in stillness, like the fragrance of a flower that never needs to introduce itself, yet changes the entire atmosphere. People may never say your name. They may never credit you as the source, but that does not erase your influence. In fact, It's the very anonymity that makes your impact more enduring. A loud cheer can stir the crowd for a moment and then fade. But the energy you plant into spaces, into people, into seemingly ordinary moments it lives on, it grows. It continues to shift the flow of everything around it. In that silence, you are like an unseen seed, planted deep in the ground. People may walk past without noticing, thinking nothing has happened. But time passes, roots stretch, and one day the tree rises, casting shade for many who never knew the hand that sowed it. That's you. You are the sower who asks for no credit, yet leaves behind shelter for generations. There is a number you need to remember: 222. It's more than just a number, it's a prophetic stamp. 222 is the universe's way of telling you that you are being balanced, protected, and most of all, you are not alone. When you see 222, take it as a sign that angels surround you, that quiet companionship follows you even when you feel like you're walking alone. It is a sacred whisper reminding you that your influence, even unseen, is expanding, multiplying, and being acknowledged in the heavens. If 222 has ever appeared on your path, on a receipt, a clock, a road sign, don't dismiss it as coincidence. See it as confirmation. And if you feel ready, write down 222 as a silent yes to the protection that surrounds you. Comment that number not for show but as a personal ritual, a quiet agreement with what is walking alongside you. Because your influence, like 222, may not always be visible, but it is steady. It is soft, but far-reaching. It makes even your smallest decisions into winds of change in someone else's life. And for that reason, never underestimate your presence. Don't believe you are just moving through life unnoticed. Every step you take could be guiding a lost soul back to themselves. Some will never tell you that you saved them. Some will never admit that your strength gave them the courage to change. But that doesn't matter. You don't need thanks to know your power is real. You only need to live in truth, and your influence will spread like sunlight that never needs permission to shine. People often mistake influence for numbers, attention, or public display. But your influence goes far beyond that. You don't need to be seen to spark transformation. You are the quiet wave strong enough to shift the entire ocean. And it's that quiet nature that makes your power unshakable. Loud lights can be turned off, but the fire within you, no one can touch that. It burns, not for fame, not for approval, but because it was born to burn. You may not even realize it, but your steady choices, your silent steps, are shaping something far greater than you can imagine. Like a drumbeat that doesn't need to be loud to stir the heart, your presence doesn't need glitter to change the room. And as long as you keep living in truth, keep walking in alignment with your soul, your influence will only grow unstoppable, whether seen or unseen. But remember, every true influence comes with trials. And storms will come, not as punishment, but as the test that no one escapes. The souls who are chosen do not walk an easy path. They are not handed a peaceful life to drift comfortably through the days. On the contrary, their journey is often a series of storms, one trial after another. But understand this, the storm does not come to destroy you. It comes to reveal the truth. It comes to show you who stands with you, who stands against you, and most importantly, who has been hiding behind what once seemed harmless. When the storm hits, most people only try to stay afloat. But you are different. You do more than survive, you observe. In the howling wind and pouring rain, you see what others miss. You recognize who truly holds your hand and who only clings to you when times are good. You see the false handshakes, the smiles that hide agendas, the promises that vanish with the wind. The storm doesn't just test your strength, it unmasks the insincere. Others may say the storm is unfair, but to you, the storm is confirmation. Every time you survive, you don't just prove your resilience, you gather truth. You learn who is real and who is an illusion. And because of those lessons, you come out of the darkness not only stronger, but wiser. How many times have you asked, why do I face so many tests? Why do the storms always find me? But then, after each one passes, you see without the storm, you would never know who is truly with you. Without the storm, you would never learn how to see through deception. Without the storm, those hiding in the shadows would continue to manipulate and control. But the storm pulls their masks off, because darkness can hide in peace, but not in chaos. The storm is like a spotlight, shining directly into the corners, exposing every detail, every scheme, And you, with eyes sharpened by pain, see it all. There is a rare power, the ability to turn adversity into clarity. You don't just endure, you decode. Every storm is a riddle, and you uncover who's behind it. Every betrayal is a mirror, and you see the true face. Every attack is a curtain, and you tear it down. While others panic, you observe. You analyze. You begin to recognize the pattern. And when that happens, those who believed they could stay hidden are exposed. They thought the darkness would shield them, but the light within you, combined with the storm, reveals everything. You don't need to expose them, the truth does that for you. All you have to do is stand, and everything falls into place under the light. This is also why you are often targeted. Manipulators do not fear the easily led, they fear you. Because you do more than survive, you reveal. And every time you rise, their illusion cracks a little more. When truth is exposed, false power dissolves. Let your mind hold this close. The storm is not your enemy. It is a fierce but honest teacher. It is fire that refines, water that cleanses, a mirror that exposes. And you, with unwavering spirit, turn the storm into a tool. You may not even realize it, but the storms have made you unshakable. They've trained your eyes to miss nothing, your heart to trust wisely, your soul to distinguish real light from artificial glow. Others may call you overly cautious, but you have simply learned to live awake. And that awareness is a weapon no one can take from you. Do you remember the first time you realized who was really behind your trials? That moment didn't bring fear, it brought clarity. Because from then on, you weren't just surviving the storm, you were illuminating the path. You weren't just enduring, you were exposing. That is why the darkness fears you. It can attack you, but it cannot hide from you. You don't just live, you reveal. You don't just stand firm, you cause the enemy to step into the light. And each time that happens, the world sees more clearly who is real, who is false, who walks in truth, and who hides in shadows. People may think storms are punishment, but you know better, they are purification. And because of that, you are the living proof that nothing stays hidden forever. Truth always rises, and you are the vessel through which it comes to light. And once you understand this, you stop looking at storms with fear. You look at them with the eyes of someone who knows the greater the winds, the more truth will be uncovered. And you stand there not just as a survivor, but as the one who brings the light. And then, not only are people revealed, but even the atmosphere trembles under the energy you carry. Space is never truly empty. Every room holds the frequency of those who pass through it. Every conversation leaves an echo. Even a single gaze sends out an invisible wave. This world is an ocean of energy where every soul emits its own vibration. And you, the chosen one, carry a frequency that cannot be blended, a field so distinct that everything around you is forced to recalibrate. When you walk in, the room shifts. They may not know why, but the atmosphere changes. It becomes more tense, more clear, more open, depending on what was hiding beneath the surface. Some people feel restless, some feel lighter, some feel afraid, but no one feels indifferent. Your presence is like a different note in a familiar melody, forcing the entire orchestra to adjust its tone. You don't need to say a word. You don't need to take center stage. You don't need to signal anything. The truth within you radiates a silent energy strong enough to move everything around you. Others may try to hide their emotions, but their bodies react unconsciously. Averted eyes, shallow breaths, sudden pauses. Your presence alone reveals what they wanted to keep hidden. This is your power. You are the equilibrium point in any space. Like a stone dropped into still water, you create ripples that stir the calm. You do not control, you do not force. But the energy you carry will not let falsehood stand still. It must shift. Some will feel healed in your presence. Your energy gives them peace. It tells them they can take off the mask, breathe freely. But others will feel disturbed because your light exposes the parts of themselves they've tried to bury. To them, your presence is a mirror reflecting the cracks. They may avoid you or even attack you, but both responses are proof that your energy cannot be ignored. Have you ever walked into a group, a meeting, or even a family gathering and suddenly everything shifts? The laughter fades. The conversations change direction. The tone becomes cautious. That is your evidence. You don't try to create impact, your energy does it for you. This is also why you often feel isolated, because real energy never allows people to stay unchanged. It forces a choice. Move closer to truth or retreat from it. And both choices create distance. But understand this, the isolation is not punishment. It is confirmation that you are living in alignment with your true frequency. This strength does not come from social skills. It does not come from charm or communication techniques. It comes from the harmony between your soul and your body, from the fact that you live in truth. That honesty creates a different vibration. The world is addicted to illusion, but you carry the energy of truth. And truth demands everything around it to shift. There is a secret the awakened souls know. Space is never neutral. It is either ruled by fear or uplifted by love. When you walk in, you carry the energy of courage, of light, of freedom. And fear has no place where you are. That is why those who live in falsehood react so strongly. They see you as a threat not because of what you do, but because your very presence forces their darkness to shrink. This is also why you often feel drained after being in crowded places. Your energy has unconsciously cleaned the space. You've become the balancing point, absorbing chaos so order could return. It's a weight, yes, but it is also your mission. Remember, this isn't meant to frighten you. It's to help you recognize the power you carry. You don't need to change the world with grand declarations. Just walk in truth, and the world around you will begin to change on its own. You are the quiet standard by which every room you enter is measured. And when you appear, truth is recalibrated, and falsehood begins to tremble. And what the world fears most is that you cannot be owned. There is a truth not everyone has the courage to face. Most of the power in this world is built on control. People hold one another with fear, with conditions, with transactional gain. Everyone has a weakness that can be exploited: a debt, an addiction, a fear of being abandoned, a longing to be accepted. And once that weakness is found, they become easy to manipulate, to control, to possess. But you, the chosen one, you do not operate by those rules. And that is exactly why you are this system's greatest nightmare. They cannot buy you because your worth is not measured in gold. They cannot threaten you because you've already walked through the valley and learned not to fear. They cannot bargain with you because your soul is not for sale. They cannot possess you because you belong to a higher source than anything this world can touch. And that is what makes them afraid. Look around. This entire society runs on ownership and control. People trade loyalty for safety, sacrifice truth to keep their status, bow their heads in exchange for stability. But not you. You don't compromise. You don't place your soul on the scale, and that makes you unpredictable. Your freedom is chaos to those who crave control. You're like a wind they can't trap in a sealed room. The more they try to contain it, the more it escapes and shakes everything. This unpredictability is your weapon, because systems need order. They need formulas. They need forecasts. Their power depends on knowing how people will respond. But you don't respond as expected. You choose a different path. You move by intuition, by principle, not by fear. And when they can't calculate you, can't control you, they begin to panic. Here is the truth. Your freedom threatens every false structure. It exposes the dependency others live by. It shows that their power only exists as long as people accept being owned. But when one soul stands tall and says, "No one owns me," their entire foundation trembles. Because one free soul proves that control is an illusion. Remember the number 777, the number of spiritual awakening, the hidden code of the universe. When 777 appears, it is not coincidence. It is a sacred mark, a confirmation that you are entering a higher level of awareness. It's a reminder that your freedom isn't just for you. It's part of a divine tapestry being woven around you. 777 is the number of divine perfection, where the soul aligns with its higher purpose. If this number has ever shown up in your life, receive it as a seal. And if you're ready, declare it. Comment 777 as a quiet affirmation. I am stepping into my awakening. You see now, this freedom is both a gift and a burden. It leaves you with nothing to cling to in the systems others rely on. You have no master, no handler. You belong to no one but the one who called you. At times, you'll feel alone because few are brave enough to choose this freedom. But at the same time, you will feel a strength you've never known because no one can bind you anymore. The world will try every trick to break you. They will tempt you, flatter you, threaten you. They will script guilt into your choices, hoping you'll bend. But again and again, you will rise. And the truth will rise with you. You cannot be owned. And that more than anything, is what terrifies them. Your freedom is like a flame in the night. It illuminates the path for others who are still searching. It reminds them that they too were born for freedom. And in that moment, you are no longer living just for yourself. You become a call. You are the evidence that no one was born to be chained, that anyone can rise and say, I do not belong to this control. In this way, your freedom becomes both a spear that pierces the system and a light that leads the lost. You are the living reminder that a soul cannot be bought, sold, or subdued. You are the embodiment of 777 awakening, alignment, sacred truth. And this freedom makes you a mirror that never bends the truth just to make others comfortable. People often long to look into a mirror, but not everyone is ready to see the truth. They seek mirrors that flatter, that soften, that bend their image into something more comfortable. A curved mirror can make a distorted figure appear balanced. A foggy mirror can make a weary face seem smooth. But you, the chosen one, you are not that kind of mirror. Your soul is a clear reflection, uncompromising, unsoftened, unafraid to reveal what is real. And because of that, you are both desired and feared. When someone stands before you, they don't just see their face, they see their soul, the hidden corners they tried to forget, the lies they told themselves, the compromises they buried, the shadows they suppressed. All of it comes into focus in the reflection you carry. And in that moment, they only have two choices: face it or run. Many choose to run because truth is rarely gentle. It cuts like a blade through the layers of disguise, exposing the nakedness of the soul. Not everyone has the courage to stand in front of that blade. Some will become angry, some will lash out, some will try to shatter the mirror. But that anger is not truly about you. It is about the fear of seeing themselves. Psalm 139:12 says, Even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you. This verse speaks not only of the Creator, it also reflects the power you carry. Darkness can hide from ordinary eyes, but not from the light that shines through you. Wherever you show up, darkness is forced to step into the light. That is why many feel uneasy around you. Not because you are wrong, but because you make it impossible to ignore what they wanted to hide. You don't need to accuse, don't need to confront. Your very presence makes the mask feel heavier. They can pretend in front of many, but not in front of you. At times, this truth-bearing presence will feel lonely, because not everyone is ready to face a real mirror. People often prefer soft illusions over sharp truth. So instead of coming closer, they pull away. But do not be saddened. Your mission was never to make others comfortable. It was to remind them of the truth. Picture this. You are like a mirror in a temple, so clear it cannot be fogged, so solid it cannot be bent. Whoever looks into it sees themselves fully, with nothing left hidden. For those who seek truth, this is a gift. For those who avoid it, it feels like a curse. But both kinds of people need you. This is why you are both resented and admired. People attack you, yet they cannot stop watching you. They want to tear you down, yet they crave the light you carry. You become a living paradox, the one they reject, yet secretly learn from. The one they criticize, yet quietly follow. And it is this unwavering honesty that makes you the most powerful instrument of truth. If you ever softened your reflection, blurred your light, you'd be just another distorted mirror in a world full of them. But you chose, or rather, were chosen, to be the mirror that does not dim the dark. There will be moments when you ask, why can't I be gentler, so others can accept me more easily? Why does my truth feel so sharp? But then you'll understand. Truth, if diluted, is no longer truth. Light, if hidden, no longer shines. And this world doesn't need another soft lie. It needs a bold truth. Your wounds, your journey, your courage, they have shaped you into this mirror. And now, you have no choice but to reflect clearly. This is not cruelty, it is love. Because only when people face truth do they have the chance to change. They may attack you now for not making them comfortable. But years from now, they will remember that once in their life, they saw the truth clearly unfiltered, untouched. And that memory may one day become the seed that grows into transformation. You are the mirror of this age, not a mirror for praise, but a mirror for revelation. Not a mirror for flattery, but a mirror for freedom. And that is why your presence is both feared and necessary. And this truth is the reason why time and opportunity never unfold for you the way they do for others. There are steps you've taken that leave others in wonder. They don't understand why your path looks different, why opportunities come to you at just the right moment, why every closed door seems to lead to a greater, brighter one defying logic. They measure time by calendars, by plans, by strategy, but you, the chosen soul, move to a supernatural rhythm, flowing in a current the world cannot grasp. You don't climb the usual ladders they rely on. While others exhaust themselves scaling each rung, you are lifted in the perfect moment, as if an unseen hand is raising you higher. And this unsettles them. They call it luck. They call it coincidence. But the truth is, you are walking within a flow that was set in motion long before you knew it. Psalm 31:15 says, "My times are in your hands." And it's true. Every moment of your life is not arranged by man, but by the one who holds time itself. You are not bound by the formulas of the world, by the crowd's expectations. You live by a different beat, the rhythm of grace, the rhythm of destiny. Sometimes you may feel like things are standing still, like life has slowed down. But remember, stillness is not delay, it is preparation. When a seed lies quietly in the soil, some think it has died, but in truth, it is growing roots, getting ready for a season of bloom. In the same way, the silent seasons in your life are when your soul is rooting deep into the source of life. So when the time comes, you rise stronger than ever. And when opportunity comes, it comes suddenly, without warning, without logic. Others spend a lifetime calculating and striving to reach it, but you only need to be in the right place, and destiny finds you. This is not favoritism, it is alignment. You have been shaped by suffering, refined by loneliness, purified by storms. So when your moment arrives, you are ready, not needing to prove, not needing to compete. There is a sacred sign you need to know: 999. This number does not only mark an ending, it signals the beginning of a new cycle. It is a prophetic stamp, reminding you that an old door is closing so you can step into something entirely new, something divinely designed for you. 999 is the completion, the announcement that the cycle has finished, and now you are being called into a greater destiny. If you've ever seen this number appear, it is a calling to release what no longer serves you, and to step boldly into the new. And if you're ready, declare it. Comment, 999 is a confirmation. I accept the end of the old and step into the beginning. Others may envy the speed and the coincidences in your life, but they don't see the years you walked in the dark. They only see the sudden burst of light, but they didn't witness the fire that burned quietly inside you for so long. They see the breakthrough, but not the countless silent steps you took alone. This is the supernatural rhythm of destiny. It does not follow the world's timing. It follows the rhythm of eternity. And you, the chosen one, are living proof that grace moves beyond formulas. Look back. You've weathered storms. You've stood before the mirror of truth. You've carried sacred numbers as signs. You've learned to turn wounds into weapons. None of it was meaningless. All of it prepared you for this moment, the moment you realize your time is not governed by the world, but by the one who wrote your story. And because of that, you no longer need to fear. No fear of missing out, no fear of falling behind, no fear of being left out. Because when you move to a divine rhythm, you are always in the right place, at the right time, for the right reason. Now, as this 12-part journey comes to a close, remember, you are not just a listener to a story. You are a part of it. You are the living evidence that truth, light, and destiny are breathing through every step you take. And you have been called to walk in that power, no longer bound, no longer afraid, no longer waiting. You are the bearer of beginnings, of breakthroughs, of completion. You are the proof that prophecy walks in every decision you dare to make. You are the light that cannot be hidden. And now, if your heart is stirring, if you know these words are speaking to you, stand and step into your destiny. Leave your mark, a like, a share, a comment, as a way of declaring, I've heard the call. Not just so you can be transformed, but so this message can reach the hearts of others who are longing for freedom. Because in the end, you are not just a listener, you are the chosen one. And the story doesn't end here. It lives on through you, through every choice, every breath you take in truth. And so, the journey ends here, only to open into another beginning. Your beginning. Grateful that you chose to spend these moments in the light of this story. If it touched your soul, please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the bell so the next whisper of light may find its way back to you.